met julle manne werk. Maar Afrikaans 'n bietjie verbeter.
Ja, jy het my nommer, jy kan my WhatsApp gooi man.
Laaste keer toe ek Afrikaans gepraat het was ek in laerskool. Al my vriende is Engels.
Oh, wel, ek kom gelyk van Engels.
Ja. Ek het net kyk hierso. So Nee, hierdie maak nie sin nie.
Wag, ek het ook vir sport gaan kyk. Jy onthou het nou met
26 jaar.
Okay, should we get this done?
Yeah, when you want to set
Yeah,
it
look.
up?
Sorry.
When you want to set it up?
Anyway,
Yeah.
I just want a nice background first.
Okay, that's fine.
Bulls are 13 now. I just wanted to check the log quickly. Yeah, Bulls are 13 after the matches last night. Stormers are still on top. Yeah. Did you get an opportunity to see the teams quick?
Yeah, I know the teams.
Oh, you know the teams. Lekker.
Name them 1 to 15. You're gonna do it.
Now we'll talk broadly. Yeah. We're live. What's happening, Omni Audio family, as well as the SportPesa family? We're right here in Cape Town having a good time. It is the North-South derby between the Bulls and the Stormers. The big question heading into this one this evening is, can the Stormers remain unbeaten? And possibly for the lads from Pretoria, can they possibly change their season? Yo, I've got Morgan. He's smiling from ear to ear. He's a part of the SportPesa family. He's donning the shirt as well. The big question is, what are we expecting at the Cape Town Stadium this evening? Because it's sold out, the vibes are definitely vibing. What are you expecting?
Listen, I think in North-South derby, nothing comes close to it if you ask me. If you ask me what I'm expecting two massive powerhouses going head-to-head, hammer and tongs for 80 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't think any love's going to be lost between these two sides, as we know, as we're very well aware. And I think it's going to be a lot closer than many expect, if I'm honest with you. I think the Bulls, even though they're not performing to the level that we know they can, we're very well aware that a North-South derby brings out the best in both teams. And I think that's going to be the most interesting aspect of this encounter.
They often talk about form in sports. Yes, the Stormers are currently on form. They are unbeaten. The Bulls, on the other hand, they've struggled. But I like what you've mentioned, that a North-South derby brings out something else in the players. The coach will want to prove a lot. And we've seen a lot of rumors running around in the media regarding some of the Springbok assistant coaches helping out with the Bulls. But when you look at this squad, right? Beginning of the season, the Bulls let go of Jake White. They bring in Johan Ackerman. Where has things gone wrong for the Bulls so far, in your opinion?
Look, I'm not part of the Bull squad, and it'll be a miss of me to ever pass comment on what's happening in another setup.
Yeah.
But I have played in a North-South derby before, and there's something that brews in the week leading up to this.
Yes.
Throw the form book out the window. It's a massive occasion, and if you look across the board, you look at that Bulls squad. There's so many Springboks there. And I think the rumors about the Springbok assistant coaches going to help the Bulls, I think it's all just been rumors.
Yeah.
I don't think you've seen a Bok coach down at the Bulls. But they don't need a Bulls coach, or a Springbok coach rather. If you can look at the seniority in that team, I think that 9-10 combination of Paul de Vet and Andre Pollard's going to really be key today. Andre Pollard's taken a little bit of flack. Sasha's come on, he set the world alight, and everybody's sort of writing what has been our wonder boy in Andre Pollard off of late. So I think he's got a point to prove, that those two 10s going head to head. I think the Stormers show their hand quite comfortably by playing Damian Willemser at 12. I think they show their hand, Damian can play at 15, he can play a lot of the other places across that backline. But to put him at 12 shows that the Stormers have real intention to try and strike and penetrate through that midfield. And who better to use than Damian?
Most certainly. Looking at that Bulls squad, I mean, we talk about experience, and I like the fact that you're highlighting that even though the Bulls haven't necessarily done well this season, you can't buy experience. I mean, even Willie Leroux is a part of this team this afternoon as well. But I want us to shine a spotlight on Rowan Norkia, a player that is a workhorse. He's always there in the engine room doing what he has to do, even when he plays for the Springboks. Sometimes people don't give him the shine that he deserves, but he's always putting in that work. He skippers the Bulls this afternoon and this evening. How vital will he be for the Bulls?
Well, you know, you talk about Roanoke here, and then as soon as you talk about him, I almost get like the Peter Sefter toy mold, you know. He doesn't go, he's not a flash guy, doesn't want the limelight, he goes about his business, he's really good at what he does. Quietly, and I think he'll galvanize this Bull squad. You know, if he comes to life and he plays with real intention and he drives that pack in the right direction, then I think the Bulls stand a chance, you know. I mean, we were very fortunate to spend some time with Dobbo yesterday through a war room. Thanks to SportPesa, we had a little war room session. And Dobbo says, you know, yes, the Bulls are not riding high, but the Bulls currently lead the way in this competition on meters gained post the collision. The Stormers currently lead the way. Before the collision, contact point, the Stormers currently lead the way. So we're looking at two teams who are going to, the one that wins the collision today and the one that keeps going forward, I think will come out on top.
We have to talk about the fact that John Dobson, you spoke about the war room that he hosted yesterday. He has signed a contract extension with the Stormers and he's here until 2029. How brilliant is that? Because, I mean, we know John Dobson. He's been putting in many hours and years of hard work right here at the Western Cape Rugby Union. But it's also a beautiful sign of confidence from the franchise to say, Dobbo, you are the guy. Yes, we have Sasha. Yes, he's signed with us until 2029. But also as a coach, we want you to stay here as well.
Yeah, well, you know, continuity in any system is paramount, and Dobbo has shown what he can do. You know, one thing Dobbo does well is he's not scared to get the skill sets around him, to get the right people, surround himself with the right people. You know, we don't talk enough about guys like Rita Shlongwane, the forwards coach of the Stormers. You know, he's come there, he's a great guy, super knowledgeable, knows his business. Dobbo pulls him close, knows how to galvanize that whole coaching squad. So to keep him here till 2029 is fantastic. I think it's great for the union. The real challenge for me is what coaches are we nurturing through the system now? If we know that Dobbo is going to be there till 2029, who is Dobbo taking under his wing? Who's going to be the incumbents? Who are we going to bring in next? You know, and so to see that, you know, I know Jonathan van der Walt is currently coaching the under-20s. If he can stick around in the system, there's potentially someone that can, you know, step into the shoes of Dobbo when he eventually leaves. But certainly Western Province Rugby and the Stormers as a whole is headed in the right direction. It's just a matter of having Dobbo steer the ship and keep the momentum going. You know, I don't think it's always going to be sunshine and roses. We know 2 losses for the Stormers, and all of a sudden, you know, the world is against them. So big game, big game to this afternoon. And I think if the Stormers pull this one off, then I think we can breathe a sort of a sigh of relief almost.
I want to shine a spotlight on some of the other signings that have also been made. Big headline is, of course, Yamthanda Khulisi coming back home, you know, to the Stormers. How big of a signing is that? Because to me, I'm seeing the Stormers invest, but they're also investing in the right players for the long term. Because to me, Sia is almost towards the latter part of his career. He's still a phenomenal player, right? But you talk about nurturing a younger talent, and having the skipper here is a big thing.
Yeah, look, I mean, you know, if you asked me before yesterday and we're spending time with Dobbo, if you asked me was Sia the right guy, I would have said completely no. I'm a massive Sia Khulisi fan, don't get me wrong. You know, and I think what he's done for rugby in this country has been second to none. But when you've got a guy like Paul de Villiers playing unbelievable rugby, to sign the Springbok captain, what message does that send to the youngsters in the union? But after having chatted to Dobbo yesterday, I completely get the thinking, you know, what the Stormers are creating here, putting smiles on faces in Cape Town. Sia's the right man, isn't he, right? And I think he's well aware that he comes here, he might not play ahead of Paul de Villiers. I mean, we know what Paul de Villiers can do, and I think he's shown that, you know, week in and week out. So I think Sia comes here. I don't think, you know, people throw around numbers and what the man might be earning. We know that he's still a pony player for SA Rugby. So, you know, player of national interest. So we know that he's being subsidized by SA Rugby. So I don't think the union is forking out as much money as we think they are to bring Sia here. And, you know, how can we blame a man? He wants to come home to his family, he wants to be close to his kids. His kids go to school in the Western Cape. So we can't blame him for wanting to do that. And, you know, I think also what Dobbo said, which I almost want to sort of second, is the fact that, you know, Sia, he's done this country massively proud. And I think he deserves to end his career almost where he wants to. And if Western Cape is the right place for him, then who are we to say no?
Exactly. I mean, the man brings a lot of influence, he brings a lot of power, and of course, he brings in a lot of experience. Talking about experience, there's one player that I think, you mentioned him earlier, but I just want to shine a spotlight on him, Handré Pollard. How vital has he been in terms of just coming back to the Bulls? He also brings experience, but as you mentioned, he's under a little bit of pressure given the star power of a Sasha Feinberg Gomezulu in that Springbok setup. But to me, I've always seen Handré Pollard as a general. He has this ability to say, give me the ball, let's make things happen. He's got that character. Are you seeing the same thing, and what impact will he have tonight?
Look, I think Andre, I mean, his career has been phenomenal, right? I mean, he's shown what he can do. And I think it would be a miss to try and compare the two, because I think we're seeing two players at completely different ends of their career. You know, also the hype around Sasha, he hasn't done what Andre's done, you know, and we've got to give respect to Andre, you know. Sasha, if he can prolong his career, play for the next 10 years, go and win 2 Rugby World Cups, then by all means we can start to put him in the same category as a guy.
Back to back, you have to say.
Back to back, you know, exactly. Then we can start to put him in the same sentence as Andre Pollard. But I think right now Sasha's riding high, he's playing fantastic rugby and we can't question that. But he hasn't achieved what Andre can, and I think we need to give Andre the respect that he deserves, you know. A guy like that who's played at the highest level for so long, again, another in the same mold as Siakalisi, his service to this game has been unbelievable, and I think there's still a lot left in him, you know. I think whether it be on the field or whether it be on the sort of nurturing the flowers that are coming through the ranks, there's certainly a place in SA Rugby for Andre, and I'd like to still see him show individuals what he's got, because I think somewhere deep down there's still a lot to be offered, and hopefully it's not tonight, because I'm a Stormers man at heart. Hopefully he doesn't show it tonight, but for the rest of the competition and going forward, I think Andre's been a fantastic servant to SA Rugby, and we can only thank him for that.
One of the players that, of course, in the previous game against the Lions, we missed due to injury, Ruan now. Wandile Simelane comes in and he fills those boots. We saw him against the Lions. Were you impressed, and what are you expecting from Wandile Simelane playing at centre for the Stormers this evening?
Yeah, again, you know, another super talented man. I mean, I think he's also got a point to prove. You know, he's sort of been, I don't want to say in the wilderness, but he's almost sort of hasn't really lived up to the hype that we have around him. And I think now that he's settling into the Stormer side, a fantastic Stormer side at that, playing outside of Damien, that combination just excites me, right?
Dangerous.
If I'm honest, I don't think the ball will be going beyond that 13 channel. I think the Stormers have a real plan to try and attack that 10, 12, 13 channel of the Bulls. So I don't think it'll be going much further than that. And quite interesting to see the team that Dobbo's picked. I do see a bit of big bench, big substitutions happening later on in the game. But if Simelane can come and play off the shoulder of Damien, then I think the Bulls are going to be in real trouble.
You talk about the Bulls being in trouble. Let's talk about where this game will be won this evening. What are the critical parts of the game that each team will want to dominate, and once they've ticked those boxes, they'll definitely get the result?
Look, I think the collision is where it's going to be won or lost tonight. You know, Dobbo said it yesterday. Having watched a couple of the Bulls and Stormers games, I completely, agree with him. I think the collision, if the Bulls get momentum, they're a super dangerous team. Andre on the front foot, playing on the advantage line, can be very dangerous. And the reverse applies too, you know. If defensively the Stormers can stop that juggernaut Bulls pack in their tracks, and on the reverse, get momentum on attack, then again, Sasha, Damien running at that 10-12 channel, I think they might be in trouble. So if you ask me whether it's won or lost, it'll probably be in the collision. But again, you know, that Paul de Villiers, or Paul de Vet rather, at 9 for the Bulls. That 9-10 combination of the Bulls, I think they got a point to prove against the Stormers. The reverse is, you know, Kobus Reinach, Sasha, that's almost two Springbok combinations going head to head. And just there could be where it's the finer margins do lie, you know. Hopefully Sasha's brought his kicking boots, because I think it's going to be closer than a lot think.
I think the game is going to be very, very close, but I want to shine a spotlight on a player that has returned back to South Africa, right? And we spoke about him building up to the Lions game, right, 2 weeks ago. Kobus Reinach. The way in which that man, as old as he is, as some would say, is able to read the game. He's playing with energy, he's playing with flair, and what I'm loving about him is he looks happy. Like, I see him in the press and I see him interact with the fans, and I'm like, yo, Kobus is so happy. Is this the perfect time for him to... It's almost as though his career has found a second wind. He's doing well for the Springboks. He seems to be so happy at the Stormers. What are your thoughts on Kobus? Because to me, he's happy and he's playing phenomenal rugby.
I've been a massive Kobus fan for many, many years, let me tell you. And I think he, again, I don't want to say a raw deal, but I feel like he should have been playing at the highest level for the Springboks a lot earlier than he has. That being said, a man of his magnitude, as fit as he is, as strong as he is, he's perfect. The timing is perfect, and coming to the Stormers to guide. You know, sometimes people don't understand the combination at 9 and 10. Kobus a cool head at 9, just to guide. Sasha's also the right thing. You know, if you watch Kobus, if the Stormers get the front foot and Kobus starts to pick up from the base and has runners coming off him on his shoulder, he can be really, really dangerous. His option taking is second to none. He's really, really good at option taking from his experience having played in England and having played around the world. So I think Kobus is the secret of the success of this Stormers side. And although people are not talking about him, all words always go to Sasha.
Yeah.
Sasha hasn't played that many games for the Stormers, but Kobus, I think, is going to be a real gem for them this year.
Let's talk about the big game that lies ahead. I want us to predict the final score line, right? As you are live on Omni Audio Africa, I want you to engage. I want you to be a part of the conversation. I want you to let us know what will the final score be at the end of the game, and after all that analysis, dissecting all the players, where the game will be won and lost. Morgan, final score prediction.
You know, 2 weeks ago, you asked me for my score prediction. I got it bang on. Stormers. I got the exact score for the Stormers and the exact score for the opposition. If you ask me this week, it's going to be super tough. I think it's going to be low scoring. The windy, it's quite windy, you know. It's quite windy. To get out of that back left-hand corner of this pitch is often tough. The wind does swirl in that corner. So I think it's going to be a low scoring affair. I think it's going to be an arm wrestle for large portions. I think the game's probably going to be won in the last 20 minutes for those teams that continue to hammer at the door. So 26-22 in favor of the Stormers, I'll go with.
26-22, low scoring game. That's Morgan's prediction. What's yours? Please make sure that you engage with us on all our social media platforms. It's Omni Audio Africa as well as SportPesa. We're having tons of fun. It's the North-South Derby right here in Cape Town, baby. Please, we want you to have fun with us today. Thank you so much, Morgan.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Laka.
Yes.
We'll see you later. Oh. Come with us. Let me take you on a quick walk of the Cape Town Stadium. We're about to find our seats. Got my brother Noah here. You well?
I'm well. I'm ready. I'm excited.
You've got the honor of walking us to our seats, brother.
Let's go.
Okay.
Let's have some fun.
Yes.
Where's the rest of our team? Here the gents are. Walking into this beautiful Cape Town Stadium. The vibes are definitely vibing. It's a sold out affair. Cape Town Stadium. North of 50,000 people. Ho ho! That's why I said you have the honor of leading us to our seats.
Working on it.
It's about 40 minutes before the game. What a time, baby. What a time. Big game. Nice and early.
Okay, so where are you guys sitting?